I'm going to talk to you today about some tips and tricks of splicing the audio for the After Action Review program. This is your main dashboard page here. We're going to look at this test call here. When I open up the test call, you'll see a tutorial video at the top of most of our pages. You can go ahead and click on that link. That will give you tips and tricks of filling out the page and the information that's on that page. But today we're going to focus on the splicing of the audio clip. This is where the tutorial video lies. You click on that, that will take us to our YouTube channel for this video. So the first thing that we want to talk about is these question marks. You'll see this throughout the program. I suggest that you hover over that and read the notes that are in there. This will give you some suggestions on how it will make it easier to splice the audio, or if you see that throughout the program on questions, it will help explain maybe how to answer the question or what we're exactly looking for the question that's being asked. So anywhere you see question marks, I highly suggest you scroll over them and take a read. It will help you throughout the whole program. Just a couple things to remember on splicing the audio. Whether you're using a PC or you're using a Mac, there are different shortcut keys that you need to use. You have a dispatch audio and you have a zoom that has question marks here. They two different features. I'll talk about those in a second. But first, let's talk about right here, the 911 audio. On this initial dispatch page, you're able to upload two separate audio files. So if you get a 911 audio tape from your dispatch center of just the 911 caller, feel free to upload that right here and it will play just the audio. Note that this does not give you the ability to splice or edit the radio traffic. It is whatever the file is, it is what it is of the 911 caller. Your dispatch audio down here is the audio that you are able to splice. If your dispatch center gives you the 911 caller and the fireground channel all on one audio, then you'll just simply splice the 911 audio under the initial dispatch page if that's what you want to hear for this first page. So, two things to remember: 911 audio and dispatch audio, two different things if you keep them separate. If not, you'll just have one audio file. So first thing we're going to do is upload our some radio traffic here. Once you upload that, remember that we take two types of audio files, a WAV or an MP3, and there is a 50 megabyte max that we have right now for the file size. So if we find that that's a problem or we have audio files that are bigger, then we'll address that issue as it comes up. We have not needed to do that so far. So I've filled out the information at the top. I've clicked save and my audio will pop up right here. You see that because of the size of the file, it does take a second for it to populate, but it will show up there and it will stay no file selection, and that is normal as it is starting to populate under your new report. You can see here that the audio is now populated. You'll see a bunch of squiggly lines and it's pink in color. Now your audio is uploaded, able to be spliced. Because I don't have any audio from the dispatcher on this example that I'm showing you, I'm not going to splice anything on this first page, which is under the initial dispatch information. So what I want to do is make sure I save my changes. I'm going to go to a new report and I'm going to do initial radio report. When I click this report, that radio file that you uploaded initially will stay with the call throughout the whole program. Every time you create a new report to evaluate it, you'll have that audio pop up at the right here and it stays with you the whole report. So remember earlier I talked about some shortcut keys under these question marks. The first one I'm going to look at is the zoom feature. You have two ways to zoom in on the call. You have a dial gauge down here that you can slide and zoom in and zoom out. The other way you can do it is if you hover over the question mark. I use a Mac key, so this is going to be the command function. I hold down the command button and I can use my mouse roller to be able to roll up and down. But as I do this, you saw when I did my roller, it moved the whole page. That's because we need to click in the field here for the dispatch audio and then stop it, and now I can hit command and scroll my mouse and it goes in and out as I see fit. But we have to make sure the mouse is in that field first before we start to use any of the shortcut features. All right, so people are going to ask, well, how far do I want to zoom in with an audio? This is zoomed too far out. You're not able to start and stop it in the increments that we need. And obviously if I zoom all the way out, man, this audio is going to go very fast, and it's going to be hard
Copy, engine 41.
to try to splice that. So I like something right around here where I can see some breaks in the radio communication, because I know where to start and stop my audio there. So I want to zoom in just a little bit more to give me a little more detail in the audio with it. This right here will zoom through your call and through all your audio with it. So now I'm at the beginning of the call. If I highlight the dispatch audio here, it gives me some shortcuts again for a PC or Apple computer. I use a Mac here, so I'm going to use the command and click my mouse to start and stop the audio. So if I want to start splicing the initial radio report, I'm going to make sure my field is here, hold down my command key, and click my mouse. That will mark it.
Fire dispatch, engine 41 with initial radio report. Copy, engine 41. Engine.
And now I stop it right here by clicking that same shortcut with the command and clicking my mouse. I now have my audio clip here that's spliced or clipped. Know that anytime that you want to just drop and drag and move it up or move it down, you're able to grab the audio, the start or stop button, and move it around. So if you want it a little bit farther to start, I would just simply move it up here. The other cool feature that we have on this is that if I just click the audio,
fire dispatch, engine 41 with initial radio report. Copy, engine 41. Engine.
It plays all the way through my whole audio and will continue playing the rest of the audio. But if I double click this feature and I click inside of my radio clip, it will put it on a loop or playback mode, which will just play it over and over and over as you start to fill out your radio traffic questions as it lists below. So a lot of times people talk pretty fast on the radio, and I can get building size and height and occupancy types, but then I kind of forget how they describe the condition. So having it in playback mode or loop mode, it will allow me to evaluate the audio traffic much better, because it's playing over and over, and I can get really specific and type in what was said for a better review. So again, just to do that, you double click right here in the audio.
Fire dispatch, engine 41 with initial radio report. Copy, engine 41. Fire dispatch, engine 41 with initial radio report. Copy, engine 41. Fire dispatch.
And that puts it in that playback mode, and I push pause to do that. So that's a cool feature that you can have with the audio clipping playback mode there. So I will clip this audio. I would push save changes, and this is my initial radar report. If I want to come to my next report, I would simply go to follow-up report, and my audio is going to show up zoomed all the way out. Remember, a little tip or trick is I got to make sure I have to have my mouse inside of the field, and now I can start to zoom in. So let's just say my radio traffic was at the 10-minute mark. I was assigning a bunch of units. I'm 10 minutes into the call. I zoom in. You're going to see 10 minutes right here. This is the timer for where we are in the call. So let's just say I'm this way in the call, and I'm at the 10-minute mark, because I remember my last radio transmission that I clipped ended at 10 minutes. I can see 10 minutes here. Now I know where to start zooming in for my call of where I want to move my mouse. So another example is, let's say I want to be at the 12-minute mark. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to click 12, and now I'll start to zoom in. When I start, I'm at 10:12. I know I just need to come back just a little bit, and I'm right here at my 10-minute mark. I can start to splice that.
From Alpha Division, do we have the sprinkler stick here? Engine 19.
Using my shortcut key of the command and clicking my mouse, it just has that audio clip right there. And again, I can evaluate this information.
Engine 9 from Alpha Division, do we have the sprinkler stick here? Engine 9, can you repeat traffic?
So again, that's not in playback mode because I did not double click on this. But I was like, oh, you know what? I did that a little too soon. I need to extend it all the way out here. I just drop and drag my idle traffic, my end stop a little farther. And now I can double click on it, and it will play it in loopback mode as we do this.
Engine 9 from Alpha Division, do we have the sprinkler stick here? Engine 9, can you repeat traffic? Where are the sprinkler system secured? Division out.
So again, that's just in playback mode or loop mode, so I can fill out all the questions that are associated with that radio traffic. So again, paying attention to the timeline on the bottom. When I create a new one, that will just help you kind of figure out where you are at the call, to be able to see where I need to zoom in on this call time-wise from the last traffic that I just did. So those are some tips and tricks for splicing the audio. Feel free to give us a call or send us an email if you have any problems.